Hello and welcome everybody to the webinar tonight. It's good to see so many of you here. Thank you very much for coming. I'm hoping that you can all see my slides, which are up on the screen there. So there is a chat box down the side on the right. Hopefully you are able to see that, and if you need to ask any questions, if you'd like to make any comments, any questions, please feel free to just type them into that chat bar. So if someone could let me know, hopefully you can hear me and you can see my slides. It would be great if someone could just type that in for me, just to let me know that I am actually on the air and people can actually see and hear me. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about how to juggle kids and business without losing your sanity in 5 easy steps. And obviously a lot of you may be having trouble with that, and that's why you've joined me here on the webinar tonight. So we'll get right into it. So who is this webinar for? This webinar is for you if you are a busy mum, if you're working or maybe running your own business, so you've got a lot on your plate. If you often find you're reaching the end of the day, you're exhausted, you're tired, you've reached the end of your tether. You feel stressed, you feel disorganized, and you really wish that you had more hours in each day. You find that you're constantly juggling work or business with family, and you might feel like your life is chaotic and out of control. So I would suspect that many of you on the call tonight would identify with 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4 or 5 of those points there, because I know that that's how I used to feel. So for those of you who don't know me, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Pauline Delaney, and that's a picture of me there on the right. And I am an optometrist, and I have been for the past scarily about 25 years, so quite a while. So now I'm working part-time, but I do have my own business, and that's my passion, and that's what I'm following and going to tell you all about tonight. I have a busy life. I have 4 children aged between 11 and 20, so I have 1 in primary school, I have 2 who are in high school, and 1 who obviously has left school and is still finding his way in the world. So I've got quite a variety of different stages that are happening in our household, and obviously I have been there, done that with the babies, with the toddlers, and now I'm entering those wonderful teenage years that can be even more challenging than the toddler years. And I have always been interested in health, in fitness, weight loss, time management. So I'm very organized. I like the idea of having things planned. I like to know where I'm going. I like to know what's happening. I like to be in control. So I like to be in control of what I'm eating, how my weight is, how much I exercise. And I really have done so much research over the years into all of these different things, and it's been a lifelong journey, and I'm sure there are many out there of you who have interest in some of these sort of areas as well. So I used to be very stressed. I used to be disorganized. I used to feel unbalanced, and I really didn't like that. I really do like to have charge of where I am. I like to feel calm. I like to feel that I do have some control over where I am in my life. So I'm also a mumpreneur. As I mentioned before, I am working part-time, but my own business is my passion, and that is growing all the time, and that definitely qualifies me as a mumpreneur. So all along I was looking for direction myself, to find out what I could really do. I wanted to do something outside of my day-to-day job. I didn't like the idea of always working for someone else, being told take my lunch break, being told the days and the times that I had to go to work, and having a limited, not a limited income, but I suppose a ceiling on what I could earn. If I worked these hours, I would get paid this much money. There was no real variance from that. If I wanted to earn more money, I needed to do more hours at work. And I really wanted to find something that I could do that would enable me to have an income with no ceiling. I wanted to be able to earn as much as I decided I wanted to earn. I wanted to be able to be flexible with the way that I worked. I wanted to do something different to what I was doing at the moment. Having done something for 25 years, you do get a little bit bored with it, and I was looking for a new challenge. And I wanted something that I could have flexibility in, that if I wanted to work a lot and develop different products and different courses that could and not be limited by working time for money, because that's the things that I wanted to do that I really have in mind for my future. So over the years, I've tried many different things, many different business ideas, because I've always had this in my mind that I didn't want to just work 9 to 5 and get paid 9 to 5 income. The things that I've tried, I'll just give you a little bit of background here. Like many others, quite a few years ago, I started with Amway, and Amway was something that I'm sure many of you have heard of, and it has quite a bad name in terms of being, people are pushy, they sell to their friends, they use their friends for their business, and it's very, very doing Amway. Please don't take this as a criticism, but I just found it wasn't for me. So I tried another business, which was a multi-level marketing company as well, called 4Life, which had various vitamins and supplements and things like that, which I enjoyed doing. But again, not quite what I was looking for. And Melaleuca was another one that I tried, where is another type of a multi-level marketing company, mainly done on the internet, with certain products, healthy products, tea tree oil products, which even I am still a customer to this day because I really do love the products, but just the business model wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And I've done Party Plan as well. So I've done Intimo, which is the lingerie, where you go out to women's houses, usually women's houses, because they're the ones that wear the lingerie, and you do a presentation, you have all the friends over, and you do fittings and get an income depending on how many parties you do, depending on how many people are at the parties, and depending on how much you actually sell. And then you have the option of recruiting other Intimo consultants into your fold, and you can help them develop their own businesses and get an income from them as well. Again, I did this for a short while. I enjoyed meeting people. I enjoyed the interaction with people, and the start of not being capped with my income to the hours that I worked, but again decided that it wasn't really exactly what I was looking for. My husband and I have also dabbled in property investment over the years and still continue to do so, but that's more of a long-term thing rather than, for us, it's not a business. And then last year, I created Busy Mum's Chaos to Control. And this is when I really found my calling. So I have always been passionate about health, about fitness, nutrition, and time management. I love finding out the best ways to create menus, the best things that my family would like to eat, and which will help my weight stay at the level I would like it to be. I love trying new things at the gym, different classes, different workouts, and time management. As I mentioned before, I love being organised, and I really find that when I have a busy household, I'm working part-time and running my own business, that time is of the essence, and I need to be smart about the way I do things and really make the most of the time that I have available to me, because I want to spend time with my family as well. And then I discovered the power of the internet. So I went to some internet marketing seminars and found really a whole new world opened up to me. I discovered what was out there, what can be done on a global scale, the power of Facebook, the power of Facebook as a social media mechanism, and also as a business tool, fantastic business tool. And I'm sure a lot of you are out there may have found me tonight on Facebook. Personal development is another thing that I have really become passionate about in the last year or so, and just really getting away from what I do in my day-to-day job, where I test people's eyes as an optometrist, and just really developing myself as a person and realizing how much I can help other people who are having trouble in certain areas of their lives and need that bit of a push to get to where they want to be, which is probably not exactly where they are right now. So I have spent a lot of time, money, energy, and invested, I should say, not spent, I have invested a lot in education, in programs, seminars and workshops over the last year or so, and have really reaped the rewards of those in terms of the knowledge I now have on running a business, on what can be done on the internet, on marketing, on traffic, on lead generation, on social media, on developing products, and also, as I mentioned, the personal development, coaching, helping people reach their goals. And I just am so excited about what I've discovered. And I'm really keen to help busy mums find their own life balance and get back in control of their lives. So what I really like to do is to help women deal with the stresses, the uncertainty, and the craziness of their busy life. And as my business is called Busy Mums Chaos to Control, and that really just should tell you exactly what I love to do. So what I did was I restyled my own life so that I have a balance of business and a balance of family that really works, and I'm not constantly pulled between the two, feeling guilty and feeling stressed. So a little phrase I've written up here that I think is just so fantastic and really bears thinking about. Time is limited, money is unlimited. So everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. Some of them you spend asleep. Most of them, or the majority of the time, you spend awake. And you can use those 24 hours or however many waking hours you have in any way you like. You can waste it. You can do things that you love. You can spend it going out working and earning money. Or you can be smart with it and try and leverage your time so that you can spend a limited amount of time doing something that will give you a maximum return. Money is unlimited, and this is something that people can struggle with. They can only see the amount of money that's coming in, time for money. They're working 8 hours a day, they're getting paid a wage for 8 hours a day. But this is not their future. They can change that. Money is unlimited. There is money everywhere in the world. It's just a matter of going out and discovering a way to attract it to you, and the best way that you can get the income that you need, the income that you want to do the things that are really the things that make you happy and that would make you feel fulfilled. But you only have a limited time to do it in, so you want to make the most of that to get the best outcome. So let's get on to why I have you all here, to tell you, to give you my take on how to juggle your kids and business without losing your sanity in 5 easy steps. So step number 1 is to set your goals and prioritize. So I'll go through these 5 steps first and then I'll elaborate on them a little bit. Excuse me. Step number 2 is to deal with the guilt. And all of us being mums out there, or most of you I presume are mums, there's a lot of guilt associated with being a mum and a mumpreneur or being a working mum. Number 3, now a lot of you may argue with me about this one. Quit multitasking. As I said, we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Ask for help. This is something that mums have a lot of trouble with. And get a balance between work and family. So let's start with number 1. Set your goals and prioritize. Something I would ask you to think about when you're doing this is to really think in your mind, what's your definition of a perfect balanced life? If time and money were no object, if you can separate yourself from where your situation is right now and try and not be confined by the limits of what's happening around you at the moment. See if you can look outside your current situation and sit down and just, not right now, but after this webinar, sit down and just really think, maybe jot down a few points, what your definition is of a perfect balanced life. How would you like life to be? Decide what is the most important to you, what really matters. And therefore, these are the sort of things that you should have at the top of your priority list. You need to prioritize between business and family. Rather than trying to constantly juggle between the two, set different times aside for each. Don't try and be jumping from answering an email to making dinner to changing a nappy, although that may happen. But try and have different times set aside for each so you can really focus on one and then the other without trying to integrate the two and be pulled between them feeling guilty. Now, this is a big one. Be prepared to change your standards. House cleaning is a big one. A lot of women find that they really take pride in the way that their house looks. They like having the perfect house, everything tidy, no dust, perfectly swept floors, folded clothes, everything away, surfaces. And if you have a family like mine who are not the cleanest and not the most, the best kids at putting things away, you will have toys left out. You will have the Xbox remote controls strewn over the couch. You will have bowls. You will have bits and pieces everywhere. And if you are constantly one being on their backs, put it away, they're going to get resentful. You're going to feel stressed. And unless they are the most perfect children you've ever seen, there's always going to be bits and pieces around. And you need to be able to accept a certain level of cleanliness and tidiness that maybe is not your ideal. But if it preserves your sanity and allows you to relax without constantly getting up and putting things away and feeling really stressed looking around at the clutter, then you will find that you're going to be much happier. So if you can find a level of a standard that you can live with. Maybe in the morning you get home from dropping the kids off at school and you like a clear bench, no dishes, then you're able to go and do your work. Then at least get that bit done, and you know that you've got that nice clean surface there that will take your eye over it without jumping from plate to cup and seeing everything, all the faults that are there, and wanting to constantly having to be putting things away. So it's really important, I think, to honestly have a bit of a think about what you can deal with, what you can live with, and if you really feel that everything's got to be perfect, are you prepared to put up with the stress that comes with getting it there? So make decisions about what you can live with, about what's okay, what's not okay, and let the family know those limits, so that you're all on the same page and they're not expecting the house to be a hovel and you're expecting it to be absolutely spotless. You have to sort of come to some agreement where you're about on the same page and you all have the same levels of cleanliness in mind. So this brings us to the point, why set goals? I wonder how many of you out there do have goals that you've actually set. And when I say goals, I mean written goals, not just these vague, oh, I think I might like to go on a holiday next year. I think I might like to make $100,000 in my business. These are actual goals, really, really set down on paper. Yes, I'm going to do these goals. Because if you don't set goals, you don't know where you're going. How do you know when you're going to get there? Goal setting should always start with the end in mind. So your end is the goal, and then you need to work out how you're going to get to that goal. But if you haven't got a goal, then how are you going to know when you've achieved, when you've really made progress, and when you've got to the point where you've got where you want to be? So there are different areas you can set your goals in. Probably the main ones are your family and your work or business. There's also relationships, and you can be quite specific with your work or business. They can be monetary goals, they can be profits, they can be how big you want to be, they can be all sorts of things. And the detail in there, the more detail you can put in there, the more chance you're going to have of really achieving those goals. Goals also will allow you to hold yourself accountable. If you've got these goals written down, you know what you're aiming for and you know where you should be heading. So how do you set goals? As I said, start with the end in mind. So work out where you want to be and really think about these goals. Don't just say, I want to lose 5 kilos. Describe how it's going to look and feel when you lose those 5 kilos. I will look in the mirror and I will be slim, I will be beautiful, I will have curves where I should have curves, I'll feel confident, I'll feel lighter, I'll feel stronger, and my arms will look toned. All those sort of things. The dress that I've been trying to fit into for the past 3 years will fit me, and it will fit me with no pulling. So that will help you really relate to your goal by really experiencing it with all your senses. So you can do that for each of the goals that you set. And if you can break your goal down into smaller steps, if we stick with, say, the weight loss goal, if you've got 20 kilos to lose, that's quite overwhelming. So instead you can break it down into your 5 kilo steps and describe how it will feel in as you achieve each of those 5 kilo increments, and you will get that satisfaction of reaching a goal several times until you reach that bigger goal at the end. So you can set goals for different time periods. Good ones are 12-month goals. That gives you a real chance to set a bit of a stretch goal, but not so far in the future that it seems unrealistic. So I think that's a really good time period to set. And also if you can set 90-day goals, and then every 90 days review them, look at what you've achieved, how you've gone with those goals, reset them for the next 90 days. So this moves us on to step number 2, deal with the guilt. As I said before, mummy guilt is a big thing with mumpreneurs and with working mums. So often you'll find that you feel guilty when you're spending time on your business and not spending time with your children. And then conversely, you feel guilty when you're spending time with your children and not working on your business. So really, you have to accept that you can't spend all of your time with your children. That's not feasible. And believe me, that's not healthy, spending all your time with your children. And vice versa, you can't be working without a break. So it's finding that happy balance between the two that's really important. And if you are trying to integrate the two, as I meant before, then when you do spend time with your kids, you're not really present with them. Your mind is elsewhere. You might be playing a game with them or reading a book, but then you're really thinking about the next phone call that you have to make, the next email you have to send to a client. And the kids can tell, no matter how young they are, they can tell if mum's not really listening, if mum's got her attention somewhere else, and they don't like that. They like all of your attention. They like to really feel that when you are spending time with them, it's quality time that that you're really listening to them and caring for what they're saying and respecting them enough, I suppose, to actually be really present with them. So if you can do a bit of separation between business and children or family, then you'll find that you're going to be a lot more productive doing it that way than trying to integrate it all together. So this means that what you really need too is, if you have young children, reliable child-free time that you can count on. So rather than jumping between they're having something to eat, I'll quickly go send a few emails, or they're watching Dora the Explorer, I'll go make a phone call. If you can have that, because that's when something will happen and they can sense it. They can sense that you're on the phone and something's happening, and that's when they will decide that they don't really like that episode of Dora and they would rather spend time tugging on mum's dress and spilling their milk all over the floor. And that means that you don't have that reliable child-free time, because then you can plan. If you've got reliable child-free time, you're able to plan things without trying to fit them in and hope that nothing happens to disrupt your schedule. Sometimes you have to deal with those clingy, grumpy children who refuse to cooperate and don't do what they are supposed to do. And also for the new mums and those with young children, babies, sleep deprivation, breastfeeding can all take its toll. So you have to deal with that. You have to be a bit kind to yourself and not try and expect that you can do the same things that you can do when you've got these happening in the background. And sleep deprivation, I was very lucky. My children have all been brilliant sleepers. Sorry, but I know that I'm quite in my minority. So a lot of you out there may find that your kids don't sleep when they're supposed to, and they keep you up at night, and that makes it really hard when you've got to be productive and you've got things planned for the next day. So try and build in a little bit of flexibility so that, and as I said, just a bit of kindness, and give yourself a bit of a break. Cut yourself some slack. So what sort of strategies can we use to deal with this guilt, this mummy guilt? Definitely naps, kinder sessions, things like that. If you can work around those, if your child usually has a 1 hour nap in the morning, maybe a 1 hour, 2 hour nap in the afternoon, maybe they go to kinder from 1 till 3 on a Thursday, then you have those times that you're able to plan things, and that's when you can use your time to do the client things that need to be done, where you have to actually deal with a client directly, possibly on a phone, or deal with someone in person if they need to come over, for example, and you're not going to have a child around your feet, rather than try and keep them quiet on the side while you're on the phone. So if you can use those times, then that's a good idea. And bite the bullet and organise some childcare, whether it's paid, whether it's unpaid. At least then you know, barring a sick child, that you have got at least that time that you can really plan activities, plan things that have deadlines, and use that time well. And you would be amazed at how much more productive you will be when you have that limited window of time, rather than having a whole day with children milling around you and trying to get things fitted in. If you've got 1 or 2 hours even of childcare, whether you've got a creche near you, rather than a full-on daycare, you can get so much done in that time. If you know that you only have 1 or 2 hours, you can just go bang, 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 bang. You can make decisions better because you know that you've got that limited time. And after that, you're going to have the children around you and you're going to be scattered, and it'll be much harder to get things done. Another little trick is to have a special box of toys that only comes out when you really need them. So if you can't get childcare, if something's happened, if your child's homesick, if there's some reason that your child is there and you have something else that's really important that needs to be done for your business, you can have this special box of toys that the child never sees except in this emergency situation or this special time. And they will be so enthralled by this wonderful collection of toys that they never get to see, that they will be able to spend some time on that without you having to constantly be pulled away from what you need to do. So it's important as well to pre-plan activities. Have something like that box of toys, or special, maybe if you have a pen and paper, coloured pencils and a little colouring book or something like that, or have your iPad with some special apps loaded on there or some special games, just in case something happens and you really need to do something, just to have that fallback, so that if you're suddenly in a situation where the child is there and you really can't have a child because of your business at that time, you've got a contingency plan that you can put into effect. Make some friends at kinder and at childcare at school, so that your child can interact with the kids, and you can really spend some time with the parents, the mums usually, and do things like organising play dates. So you can have a few kids over at your place for an afternoon, and then you'll get that favour repaid. You might have a busy afternoon one week. The next week, another mum may take a few of the kids and you get that break. And you don't feel guilty, you don't feel like you're imposing on them because you've done your tit-for-tat thing. Swapping babysitting is a great one too. So if you've got other mums who are maybe in similar situations to you, if you partner up with other mums who understand your issues, maybe other mums who have certain appointments they need to go to, maybe other mumpreneurs or other working mums, or other mums who have social events, something like that, and they don't have a babysitter. If you can take turns with them, swap babysitting, and that gives you a lot more options, rather than you thinking you've got to do it all yourself and fit everything around yourself, and you don't like asking for someone else to do something for you. By swapping, you're doing them a service, they're doing you a service. It works both ways. So I think that's a really good option for mums. And if you can create routines for kids, if they know when mum goes into the study and shuts the door, then I can't go in there, or I need to knock on the door. Or if mum is on the phone, I can't just interrupt her. I have to wait until she's finished on the phone. Little routines like that. Maybe have certain games that the child is able to play on their own, that they know that this is one that they do by themselves without mummy, and you can then have that as a fallback in case you need it, or when you're doing certain things that maybe you don't need childcare for, but you just really like to focus on something for 5 minutes without being interrupted. So by all of these things really are planning ahead and thinking about what could be happening, what could possibly happen, and preempt it by having something in your mind or on your list of, as I said, contingency plans, so that if the unexpected does happen, you're not thrown into disarray and a big mess. You've got something that you can do in order to cope with those situations. So be flexible. Expect the unexpected, because unfortunately, as mums, kids are unpredictable a lot of the time, and no matter how well you can lay your plans, you can plan everything down to the last detail, still something can happen that can throw you off. And if you've got an important meeting, if you've got a deadline, then you can't just give in to whatever's happened. Sometimes you really just have to find an alternative way and do things a little bit differently. So all of these strategies that I've talked about can really help you there. So moving on to step number three, which is to quit multitasking. As women, we are designed to think that we are supposed to be able to multitask better than men, and we can do lots of things at the same time. That is true to a certain extent, but often we find that we're juggling too many things at once. And just because there are a lot of things to be done, it doesn't mean that doing them all at the same time is the best way to get them done, because your mind is scattered. You won't be doing things as efficiently or as well as you can if you can do things step by step, one at a time. There have been studies done that show that if you're multitasking, a task can take 40% longer doing it by doing several things at once rather than just concentrating on that one task at a time. So that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time extra spending on something. You're not really saving time and you're not being as productive. And you often find that you'll get to the end of the day having spent the whole day trying to do 5 things at once, and you've got 5 half-finished things done at the end of the day, instead of maybe 2 or 3 completely knocked on the head jobs that are finished. So with the big important things, I think that you'll find if you can do it one at a time in order, you're better off than trying to split your attention and your productivity between too many things at once. By multitasking at all, as well, you'll find that there are very blurred lines between work and family, and you're trying to, as I mentioned before, cook the dinner at the same time as send an email, at the same time as writing a blog post, or doing the cleaning, maybe doing the washing, that sort of thing. And then you feel like you're not spending time with the kids, you're not spending time on your business, it's just all a big mess. So if you can set aside different times to do different things, then you'll find that you're going to be much more efficient and get a lot more done. You're going to constantly feel scattered and disorganized if you're doing it that way, doing the multitasking all the time. You're never going to complete that to-do list that you have. And it's really important to stop trying to be a superwoman. There's no awards out there. No awards that are worth winning for you to be able to say, I'm a superwoman, I've done this, I've done that. Fair enough, I'm exhausted, I'm stressed by the end of the day, but I've done everything. So this is a little tip that I would really recommend as well, is to underschedule your time. If you have your diary set out and you've got every minute in there scheduled, if something happens, if a child is sick, if it takes you longer to get from point A to point B because there's a lot of traffic, if you find that the job you're doing, the task for your business takes twice as long as it was supposed to, then all of a sudden you're under the pump. You've got deadlines, you've got things that have to be done, and you've just run out of time, or you're constantly chasing your tail and you are not getting done the things that you should. So instead, schedule, put everything in your diary, plan everything, but if you can, only schedule half the time that you have available, so that you have got that leeway and that flexibility to fit things in that may come up out of the blue, or to to deal with things that may take longer than you're expecting them to. So what sort of strategies can you do? You can create routines, you can create timetables, use a diary. I would not be without a diary. I would be lost without a diary. And I would encourage everyone to use a diary. Some people like a manual diary, like I have. Others may like an electronic diary. Whatever your choice is, pick one and stick to it. And another little tip is, rather than having a to-do list that has 100 items on it, even if you have 100 things that need to be done, have your master list, but each day create a priority list with 6 things on it. 6 things is an amount that's not too much and not too little, and you can actually get that done each day. Rather than having 100 things on your list and ticking off 6, you've still got a lot of things on there that are not ticked, and it can be quite daunting and quite frustrating that you've been busy all day and you really haven't done what you would have liked to have done. So by having that priority list of 6, the things that really are important and need to be done that day, you've got a much better chance of actually getting them done. As I mentioned before when we were talking about the multitasking, follow one task through to completion. Don't try and do 20 things at once. Menu planning. Now, menu planning is something I could talk to you for hours about. I am very big on menu planning. That's a topic for another webinar. But by doing this, even if it's just thinking a day ahead, a couple of days ahead, tomorrow we've got soccer training, so I'm not going to be home till 7. The kids are going to be starving by then. So what are we going to do for dinner? I can't start cooking dinner then. Instead, the night before, I'll throw together some things that I can then put in the slow cooker in the morning, turn it on. At the end of the day, we get home at 7 o'clock, it's ready. I've had to do nothing, and it's just sitting there on the bench smelling beautiful, just ready to be dished up. So just really looking at your diary, as I mentioned before, and seeing what's on for the next few days, you can just do a little bit of planning ahead so that you're not getting to dinner time, you're stressed, you've been doing things all day, and all of a sudden the kids are saying, "What are we eating? I'm starving, Mum. What's for dinner?" And you haven't even had a chance to think about it. That can be really stressful. Use a planner as well. If you are running a business and you have workshops, if you have webinars you're doing, if you've got clients that have deadlines, put them in. You can then work backwards and mark off the different the timeline towards a deadline, what needs to be done by different stages, rather than having the deadline and then getting all the way up to it and realizing you've only got 2 days to do 4 weeks worth of work. So having a planner there will also enable you to see at a glance how busy things are, how busy your day, your week, your month looks, and will alert you before you slot anything else in. So, as I said, break down tasks into what needs to be done each day or week so that it's not all piled up towards the end. Moving on to number 4, ask for help. And this is something that's quite foreign to mums. Mums like to be in charge and to be able to do everything themselves without having people do things for them, and they have a lot of trouble asking for help. But if you can set up things like reciprocal arrangements with other mums, if you have a really busy day and you can't pick the kids up from school without rearranging 10 other things, ask someone else's, one of the other mums, to pick your child up, bring them home, and then another night you can do the same for them. If you've got dancing for the kids, the little girls, your daughter, and it's a fair way away, you need to sit there for an hour, and I mean, you can watch, that's fine. I mean, a lot of mums love to watch, but there's a lot of other things you might want to be doing with that hour. And you can take turns. If you make friends with some of the other mums, she can go one week, you can go another week, and you can, you're not asking for help that way, you're helping each other. So I think, just as I mentioned, reciprocal arrangements is great. It's great because there's a lot of other mums who are in the same boat that you are. Outsourcing. Now, if you are a mumpreneur, if you're very, very busy, if you have a thriving business, for example, then for you to be spending time on doing the sweeping, the washing, cleaning the toilets, cleaning the bathrooms, and trying to fit that in with your business, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because if you can pay someone to do something that will free you up to get more clients, do more work, make a bigger profit, then why not do that? Rather than doing the menial tasks that don't need your attention. Your business needs you to do it. You know, you're the face of your business, but household tasks, anyone can do it. You can even train your kids. And you can outsource some of the business tasks too with a virtual assistant. As I said, paid or unpaid, how much is your time worth? Your kids are an untapped resource. They're living in the house, they're using the bathroom, they're eating the food, they're using those dishes. They can be doing things to help you out. They're not, you don't have to treat them like slaves, but they can definitely be helping mum out in the kitchen, in the bathroom, cooking, depending on their age. But you need to ask them. I know my teenagers would never voluntarily offer to do anything. They don't seem to see the same things. They don't see the mess. They don't see the clutter. They have to have that little bit of a push. So give them that push. And accept all genuine offers of help, because people don't have to offer to help you with something. They often will choose to, and they want to help you. They don't like to see you stressed. They don't like to see you overwhelmed with all the things you have to do, and they really want to help. So say yes to them. And conversely, be prepared to say no. Don't just say yes to everything someone asks you for, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a commitment, a volunteer role, a new job, a new client, for example, that really is too much for you, or you don't really want to do it, then don't be afraid to say no. You have your reasons, and often you can explain your reasons, and they are quite valid reasons. Your time is important. Your time is very valuable, and you need to think about whether something is going to move you closer towards your goals before you commit to it. Moving on to number 5 is balancing work and family. So what you should do is to set boundaries. Have business hours. So set boundaries between the times. This is particularly for women who are working from home. Times you're going to work in the business and times you won't. So you need to be clear with your clients that just because you're working from home, for example, that you are not available to them 24/7. Set some business hours. Also for your family, you need to be able to switch off. So you can set a time. You can set 6 o'clock. You can set 7 o'clock at night if you're very busy. And beyond that, you don't sit on the computer. You don't go into the office. You can spend time with your family. And that the office will still be there tomorrow, but you are then able to clear your mind and really separate, just switch off, clock off, which you would be doing if you were out in a job anyway. It's just a lot harder when you're at home and the job is just a room away. So you need to really set those boundaries. And this will allow you also to be fully present in each of your roles. You have the role as a mother and the role of a mumpreneur. And you need to be able to separate them, as I said, and allow yourself to immerse in each of them so that you're not trying to mingle them together, get them blurred, feel frustrated, feel guilty, just have them separate so that you're able to fully focus on being a businesswoman at certain times, and then completely focus on spending time relaxing with your family and enjoying them. And self-care. You need to allow time for yourself as well, because you are the hub of the family. And if you are not happy, if you're stressed, if you're not giving yourself any downtime, any creative time, any time that you can just relax and do the things that you want to do apart from business, apart from your family, then you're not going to be any help to anyone. You're just going to feel frustrated, resentful, and unhappy. So what you need to do is to work smarter and not harder. In your business, if you can streamline your business as much as possible and aim for fewer high-paying clients rather than lots of low-cost ones, because you would be amazed at how easy the high-paying clients are. It's the ones that aren't paying much for your services or your products that seem to have all the criticisms, the queries, the niggles, the little problems. They're back and forth. They're complaining about this, they're complaining about that for very small transactions, whereas the higher paying clients place much more value on what you can offer them and what they are receiving from you, and they are much easier to deal with. And if you've got a few higher paying clients, you've got a lot less chance of having those niggling, time consuming, frustrating complaints. Look for other ways that you can make your business more profitable without having to work more. Find partners who can work with you in joint ventures, and look for other opportunities that aren't involving just you working more hours. And you need to be the priority. You are the mother, you are the mumpreneur, you are the center of the household, that the person that runs everything. And if you are not putting yourself up high on the list of importance, then you're going to be resentful, you're not going to be working to your best ability, and you're not going to feel fulfilled. So let's recap. Here are our 5 steps. Number 1, set your goals and prioritize. Number 2, deal with the guilt. Number 3 is to quit multitasking. And number 4, ask for help. Number 5, balance work with family. So I hope that you have enjoyed what I've had to say for you to you today. I hope that you got a few insights there, and that I've been able to help you with maybe some of the challenges and frustrations you've been having integrating your own business and work with your family. So I've given you a lot of information, I hope, but sometimes you may find that it's been a little bit overwhelming. So hopefully you feel that you can ask me any questions. I'm going to be checking the question box in a sec and see if you've got any questions for me, because I would love to answer them. And if I don't get round to answering them today, I will check these and I will answer them in an email. I'm going to send you out an email after the webinar to go through it and to send you any answers that I haven't been able to get to today. So what I would like to offer you today, if you are interested, is that I do have a coaching package available, an introductory coaching package, which will enable me to help you with some of the things we've talked about today. If you're finding that you're really overwhelmed, you're having trouble with integrating the way that you're running your business and the way that you're dealing with your family, you're not feeling fulfilled, you're feeling like it's all too much, you're juggling too many things and you don't know how to get your life back in balance, then this would be perfect for you. So I have a special on at the moment where I'm offering a 2 for the price of 1 60-minute introductory coaching package. So you get 2 60-minute coaching sessions, which we can set a week apart, we can set further apart, we can set a few days apart, whatever you would prefer. And that's only $197, whereas normally that would be the price for 1 coaching session. So I also have some bonuses, which are a downloadable goal mapping template, which is going to help you define your own goals and turn them into reality. And also I have access to my 21 Days to Your Ideal Life email series, which is valued at $27. So you get those bonuses as well as the coaching package. And this is a great idea, particularly if someone hasn't experienced coaching before, because it gives you that introduction without the commitment of a long-term contract or anything like that, just to try it out and see really how much we can actually help you and how much clarity and how you can get with the package, as in the sessions, and the sort of strategies we can put in place and really get you moving from chaos into control. So let me just pop it up there on the screen. So I've put up a website there that you can go to if you would like to book your first session, or you can simply send me an email whenever you like. Any questions, if you want to pop them up on the side there, please feel free. As I mentioned before, if I don't get to any of the questions, I can always have a look at them a bit later, and I can answer them for you in the email that I send out for you afterwards. Thank you. Yes, I'm glad you got some value from that. That's excellent. Okay, so I have a few comments there. Lovely. Yes, no problem. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so not really not any major questions. Hopefully that means that I've answered all of your questions. and that's always a good thing. So what I will do now is I'll send out an email, as I said, and that will have the link on here, because I know it's a little bit hard for you. I don't think you can click on that link if you wanted to. I'll send it out, and if you would like to take me up on that 2-for-1 introductory coaching package, that would be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to some of you and connecting with you. So for now, thank you so much, all of you, for being here in the webinar with me. I have really enjoyed sharing all this information with you, and please feel free, if anything comes up later on, if you would like to connect with me on Facebook at Busy Mums Chaos to Control, then definitely please do that. And otherwise, I will speak to you later. Thank you very much. Goodbye.